Good morning. Wanted to share some information. I have to let it out. Yesterday, I was listening to this psychoanalyst, a doctor in psychology, a doctor in pathologies, and she was talking about this toxic self that everybody has. This toxic self is composed of our past experiences, bad past experiences is based is a coming together of old thoughts, of old beliefs. It's a coming together of old conditionings, old experiences. um, I am short in words to describe it, but I think you get the picture, right? It's a coming together. It's what Carl Jung called the shadow. Yes, and this, in my opinion, this toxic self, it's very seductive. It's very lustful. It's composed of these bad experiences we experienced. Yeah. And it becomes part of us. We have to acknowledge its presence and we must not enable it in order to move on. So, in past scriptures, I think philosophers used philosophy to almost as a antidote, as a kryptonite, to purge the human psyche out of this toxicity. In old scriptures, they used to talk about the adversary, and it's present here and there. In Eastern tradition, Buddha was wandering around and he came across Mara. Mara tried to seduce him, to corrupt him. Buddha, by the way, is a spiritual appellation. It's not a person, it's not a statue that you can point your finger at. It's a state of being. Yeah, it's spiritual. It's not a person. So it's something that you achieve, attain the state of Buddhahood, a state of illumination, of peace, a state of rest. Yeah, a state of illumination that you can see things for what they are. No bullshit. That's what it is. It's a state. And in other traditions, more into the Middle Eastern, right, there was this guy named Joshua or Jesus, whatever you want to call it, and he also came across Satan. Satan was also the shadow, is also the seducer. He is the adversary. In other traditions, more tribal, yes, more into animism, yes, they would see the world a bit different. They would say, for instance, use the analogy of the wolf. They would say, there are two wolves inside of you, sometimes more, but for the sake of the argument, just say there's two wolves, one wolf that is good, the other wolf is evil, and it is up to you who you're going to feed. You have to be conscious of it, and who are you going to enable? All right, this dark wolf, this evil wolf, is Mara, is Satan. It's the adversary, and it's the encapsulation of all things that happen to you that is bad. Now, if you will enable the bad side, the bad side will, like a broken record, make you go through all of those bad experiences. I'm sure you've heard people saying, why do I always choose the bad person for the relationship? Why do I always choose this type of boss? Why do I always choose a toxic place to build my life? And they just don't get it. They are being manipulated by the shadow, by this false self. They are being manipulated like in a Stockholm situation. Yes, they want this indirectly, of course. This adversary indirectly is always seducing you, and you see this in society in general. We People are living in captivity, and we have a dysfunctional relationship with the leaders, and they are the Mara, they are the adversary, and they seduce people into the system. Yeah, And people say, no matter who I vote, it's always the same and things are never change. Well, you're just enabling dysfunctional. You're just enabling the adversary. Ancient scriptures had an antidote for this, and it was in the form of meditation. And you would say, what meditation? What is meditation? Well, meditation is not about emptying your mind. It's not. Meditation is about cultivating your mind, educating yourself. It's about concentration on what's important. And if you concentrate in what's important, you will start little by little noticing the wolf, the bad wolf inside you, and you disable it. There's this film, very awesome film. What's it called now? It is the main actor is this guy who plays action, Jason, whatever. I will put it in the comments or in the description. And he also was battling this wolf, this deceiver inside of him. And when he became aware of it, he became quote unquote illuminated. You know, I'll put it in the description. I can't remember right now. I'm seeing the images, but I can't remember the names. It's not a well-known film, of course not. Even though it was made by an action, type of actor. Anyway, moving forward. Ancient scriptures, they presented you with a solution, a kryptonite for the seducer, for the dark side. So you could do physical therapies like acupuncture and other therapies based on the thermal waters. What is it called? Mm, there's certain water sources that emit low radiation. In different types of radiation will cure different ailments. There's also that. There's acupuncture. There's all sorts of therapies. There's rocks. I can't remember right now. I'm seeing it, but I can't remember the terms. Rocks that you warm and put the rocks, in certain positions of the body, and the warmth of the rock will cause you, an effect. Because what isn't expressed, for instance, anger, when you don't express it, it becomes imprinted in you. And these emotions attack certain areas of the body, for instance. Kidneys are associated with despair, for instance. If you are, always in stress and despair, it will affect your kidneys. And there's a whole, holistic medicine out there that addresses this. Certain states of emotions or certain situations will affect certain organs, certain parts of your body. And then there's therapies that you can use, like acupuncture, to redirect the energy out. For instance, we sometimes are attracted to certain types of music, and some people just love rock music or heavy metals. Heavy metal. It's almost like a ritualistic, um, expelling of demons. It's what's it called? An exorcism. The sounds will expel demons from your body, so to speak. Let it all out. That's what it is. All heavy metal and music can also be used to help demons get into you. There's certain music like Spice Girls and I don't know, some albums from U2, and you could clearly see it's demonic. Mainstream, they are very big in this. They're actually opening your mind, so to speak. They are putting you in that suggestive place in which you meditate, and they are introducing demons instead of helping you fight demons. So let's go back to the meditation. So it's about cultivating your mind, and it's about concentration for people who, for instance, are in chronic pain, either psychological or physical. Um, in original five Nikayas, for instance, of Gautama, after his passing, he didn't left anything written. Back in those days, people moved from place to place to spread the word, right? And there was no journal, newspapers, there was no radio, and everything was, speaking orally. And it was out of someone out of, I don't know, out of their own, discernment, that decided to write down in the five Nikayas the message in ancient Pali, which was a dead language already back in those days. And to me, it's like a guidebook to help people be conscious of the adversary and how to um, how to overcome the adversary, so to speak. Um, and through that, the ancient Platonists also talked about this meditation, this wisdom about thoughts, this wisdom about your feelings. You have to be wise about everything that is the what we call the self. You have to be aware of everything and be wise about your emotions, be wise about your thoughts. Movements like the Stoic movement came out of this, and other, be wise about these things. There's a certain wisdom about, a love for wisdom and a certain wisdom about these things. And eventually you would identify this adversary. What is its purpose? Its purpose is to perpetuate repetition, yeah, like a broken record. It will make you live those traumas over and over again. If you, through meditation, meaning through cultivating your mind, you can overcome it. Yeah. There's more information about this. I have to look into it still, but I think it in modern psychoanalysis and psychology, I think they're already using this. You know. Anyway, I don't have a script. I'm losing my train of thought a little bit here. So that there's a link, and evil forces, they always corrupt the ancient scriptures. Why do they do it? For instance, why do they purposely mistranslated the five Nikayas? Because they want to perpetuate this state of uh, codependency. They want to perpetuate the state of agitation, the state of confusion, this pathological control grid. Every now and then they need, an event to put people back into the Stockholm syndrome. Yeah. When everything fails, they take you to WHR. They always take you there because in WHR, anything is possible. And what they want is traumatizing the masses. When a person is traumatized, they act exactly as the oppressor wants them to. Go left, go right, do this, do that. They don't have free will. Free will is potential. Freedom is potential. Freedom of speech is potential. But the forces of evil, they don't want you to have it. So they will do anything to suppress those. Yeah. That's why they are always big into these psychological operations. And WHR is the best, to bring back, because a person that is not, has not free will, hasn't actualized, is an NPC. A person who has an actualized free will, it has actualized, freedom. That is actualized. It's an NPC, and it remains a person suffering from Stockholm syndrome, suffering from, what I've been talking about. This agent called Mara or Satan, the adversary. They are under their influence. Yeah, they are what, like a broken record, repeating over and over. And the true self is suppressed, is diminished, it's put in the background, and it's the false self. Later, in modern psychology, I think they call it the ego. But those are modern terms. I don't really say ego because there's a lot of people who don't know what the ego is. They identify with the ego actually, and but they are mistaking. I don't know. It's a bit confusing sometimes. But I wouldn't, call it ego. I think it brings more confusion because there's this cheap psychology coming out of, Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung, and they were nothing in psychoanalysis. It's only when they started reading the Upanishads and reading, Vedic traditions and Egyptian, traditions. That's when they started clicking. Oh, finally, I'm understanding what's going on. Yeah, that's when it clicked for them. But what they are doing is just repeating another guy, talking about the hero's journey. What's his name? He also, it's a repeater station for already the ancients, been talking about in scriptures. Yeah. So, yeah, the hero's journey is a realization. It's like attaining Buddhahood. It's the same thing. Anyway. The hero, is always the one making sacrifices. And a lot of people don't want to make sacrifices. They prefer the easy path, the path of less resistance. And this is what is always proposed by the adversary: what's easy and what's fast and dirty. Because often what is right, takes some more work. So, anyway, I've been talking for 17 minutes already. I'm going to shut up now. Have a nice day.